So this video is going to be focusing on the heart and all of the bad things that can happen to it. Myocardial ischemia and myocardial infarctions are very close in definition and often confused. But here's the connection. Myocardial ischemia happens first and is a stepping stone to a potential myocardial infarction. So let's get back to the basics. As we all know, the heart supplies blood to the entire body via the aorta. However, the aorta doesn't give oxygen to the heart itself. That's actually the job of the little vessels on the side of the heart called coronary arteries. And the main cause of both myocardial ischemia and infarctions are when these coronary arteries somehow become blocked off, and that's a thing called atherosclerosis. And that's referring to the buildup of plaque, aka fat and cholesterol, that starts accumulating around the edges of the coronary artery. Now at rest it's pretty unnoticeable that your artery is clogged with plaque, but let's say one day you start to go exercise and your muscles demand more oxygen, so your heart starts beating faster, and all of a sudden that plaque in your coronary arteries becomes disrupted and it becomes a thrombus or a blood clot. Now the thrombus gets bigger and bigger, eventually making that hole that blood can flow through a lot smaller, and as this becomes smaller, the quantity of blood flowing out gets smaller as well, and your cells become oxygen starved. Now, as this continues to happen, it's a process called hypoperfusion. Without that oxygen and glucose, ATP cannot be created, and now you're moving from hypoperfusion now to myocardial ischemia. Now, luckily, myocardial ischemia is reversible. With the help of diet changes, exercise, and a vasodilator, you can reverse that hypoperfusive state and prevent a heart attack. However, if myocardial ischemia is not caught and there's no treatment, it will lead to myocardial infarction, aka a heart attack. Dun dun dun! So what's actually happening during a heart attack? Well, there's these cells around the coronary artery called cardiomyocytes, and these cells are supposed to be fed by the oxygen flowing through the coronary arteries, but as the blood flow decreases, they become oxygen starved and eventually start to die. So what's happening now is that they release this protein called troponin that was in their cells into the bloodstream, which actually can be tested for with blood work. And that's now traveling around the body, and at this point the brain and the whole body starts to freak out. So the brain tells the adrenal glands to release epinephrine and eventually leads the body to a state of high heart rate, otherwise known as tachycardia. The brain actually starts to do all kinds of things. It tells the body that it's actually feeling indigestion when really the heart's just hurting, and also there's a nerve in the heart that's connected to the nerve in the arms. They share the same origin, so when the heart feels pain, so do the arms, and also the blood flow is slow to the brain, causing confusion and disorientation. So what kind of treatments are there for heart attacks? Well, it really depends on the stage in which your heart attack is being caught. At the very beginning, aspirin can be prescribed, and aspirin is a blood thinner, so it would make the work that the heart had to do a lot less. Also, you could prescribe some nitroglycerin, which is a vasodilator, making the blood vessels a lot larger so that the blood can flow through. If it's progressed far enough, you may have to start CPR to pump the blood for the heart itself. And if it's gotten far enough, you may have to actually perform heart rehabilitation. Now, the cells of the heart are not like epithelial cells. They don't regenerate. So once they've died or they've reached necrosis, there is no regeneration of the heart, and eventually the muscle will stop pumping blood and the patient will die.